Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to you. Today, we're going to jump into one of the most incredible stories of wisdom and integrity ever told, the story of the prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. We'll see how a king's really disturbing dream ended up changing the fate of an entire nation. It's an amazing journey, really, from the darkness of a prison cell all the way to a seat of power. And it all starts with one single mysterious vision.
Okay, so this is where it all kicks off. Just try to imagine this for a second. You are the king of Egypt, the most powerful man in the land, and you wake up from a dream that is so vivid, so strange, it just shakes you to your core. He knows, He senses this isn't just some random nightmare. It feels like a warning, a message he absolutely has to understand. And so he summons every wise person he can find, and in doing so, he sets off this chain reaction that nobody could have seen coming.
So, our story really begins with this crisis brewing inside the palace. The entire kingdom's future is literally hanging in the balance, all because of this one mysterious vision that has everyone completely stumped.
Now let's break down the symbols in this dream, because this is fascinating. Look at the powerful contrast here. On one hand, you've got these symbols of massive abundance, 7 fat, healthy cows, 7 green, lush spikes of grain. But then they're being devoured by symbols of total scarcity, 7 lean, starving cows, and 7 dry, withered spikes of grain. And did you notice the number that keeps popping up? 7. This tells us it's not random chaos. It's a pattern. It points to cycles, maybe seasons of feast and famine.
So what happens when the king asks his best and brightest to solve this puzzle? Well, they totally drop the ball. They either write it off as just meaningless nonsense, a mixture of false dreams, or they just have to admit, we've got nothing. And this moment is so important because it shows the limits of regular human wisdom. The so-called experts are powerless, and that creates a vacuum that only something else, a different kind of insight, can fill.
So with the entire palace at a complete loss, the story takes this incredible turn. The key to saving the kingdom isn't in a library or a council room. It's about to be found in the most unexpected place you can imagine, a forgotten prison cell.
Right when it feels like all hope is lost, a man who once shared a cell with Yusuf has this sudden flash of memory. See, years before, Yusuf had correctly interpreted his dream, but when this guy was released, he forgot his promise to mention Yusuf to the king. But now, at the kingdom's darkest hour, that memory comes rushing back. This is the perfect hinge on which the entire story pivots. It's a beautiful example of divine timing, really, finally setting Yusuf's rescue into motion.
And look at what Yusuf brings to the table. He doesn't just give an interpretation. No, he delivers a clear, actionable, strategic plan to save the entire nation. He lays it all out in 3 simple steps. Step 1. 7 years of hard work, planting and saving everything you can during a time of abundance. Step 2. 7 brutal years of famine are going to follow, and they'll eat up everything you've stored. And then, step 3, hope. A year of recovery will come after, with rain and abundance once again. This isn't just a prophecy, it's a brilliant economic policy.
Naturally, the king is just blown away by this wisdom. He wants to meet Yusuf immediately. But this is where we see the true measure of Yusuf's character. He puts justice before his own freedom. It's a real moment of truth before power.
So get this, the king's messenger shows up at the prison ready to set him free. And what does Yusuf do? He doesn't just rush out of the cell, thankful to be free. Nope. He sends the messenger back to the king with a request. He wants the king to investigate the old scandal that landed him in prison in the first place. He insists on clearing his name, on establishing the truth before he accepts his freedom. His integrity was just not for sale.
So the king does exactly what Yusuf asked. He opens an official investigation, and we can follow the path right here. The king calls in the women from that original incident, and under the pressure of a royal inquiry, the truth finally comes out. It all leads to this stunning public confession from the wife of Al-Aziz, who says, "Now the truth has become evident. It was I who sought to seduce him." Just like that, after all those years, Yusuf's name is publicly and completely cleared.
But even after this huge vindication, Yusuf shows this incredible humility. He doesn't boast. He doesn't say, "I told you so." Instead, he acknowledges that the human soul can push us towards doing wrong, and that our only real protection comes from God's mercy. This profound self-awareness, this deep understanding of human weakness, is precisely what makes him ready for the leadership role he's about to take on.
All right,
So his wisdom has been proven, his name has been vindicated, and now we arrive at the final act of this amazing story, Yusuf's rise from a prisoner to one of the most powerful people in the entire land.
The king sees it all, not just the immense skill, but the rock-solid integrity, and he elevates Yusuf to a position of incredible authority. He says, "Bring him to me. I will appoint him exclusively for myself." This is so much more than a job offer. It's a declaration of absolute trust. Yusuf's character is now recognized as the foundation that the kingdom's survival will be built on. And when the king asks him what role he wants, Yusuf uses two very specific Arabic words, Hafizun Alim, a knowing guardian. Let's break that down because it's perfect. Alim means he has the knowledge, the expertise, the competence to handle the crisis. And Hafiz means he is a guardian, a trustworthy steward, who will protect the people's resources with total integrity. It's the perfect fusion of skill and character for the job ahead.
But here's the bigger picture, the crucial point that the Quran makes. This whole story isn't just about a smart man who got a lucky break. Yusuf's rise to power is shown as an act of God's mercy. It's the just reward for his years of patience and righteousness. It's this beautiful example of human effort, Yusuf's planning and steadfastness, working in perfect harmony with divine will.
And just as Yusuf reaches this incredible peak of worldly success, the story gives us this profound reality check. It reminds us that as great as all this is, the reward of the hereafter is far, far better for those who hold on to their faith and their consciousness of God. It puts all of our worldly achievements into perspective. They're a tool and they're a test, but they are not the ultimate goal.
Which leaves us with this final, powerful question, one that really echoes through time, doesn't it? How do we balance our own ambitions, our own successes, with our values and a higher spiritual purpose? It's a question Yusuf's life gives a beautiful answer to, and it's one that remains just as important for all of us today. Thank you so much for joining me.